Who is the most important member of your church? Now you might hear that and go, well, whoa, bro, I ain't sure about that question, man. God doesn't play favorites, and everybody has a role that is equally important in the church. And I totally agree with that. I just kind of wanted to catch your attention. Let me ask you this question. In your family, who receives the most attention? Right? If you were to have a big family event, you're inviting family members from all over the place to go and visit, who at that event is receiving the most attention? It should be the kids, right? The kids are absolutely the center of attention. Absolutely. Those kids are the center of attention. Why? Why are kids the center of attention? It's because kids are awesome, and kids are the life of the party. They add so much energy, so much life, so much fun to any event. As long as they're not off in a corner somewhere on their phone, Snapchatting boys or playing Fortnite or something like that. As long as those kids are engaged and they are interacting with everyone in the room, kids are awesome, and they add so much life to any event, any gathering. And also, adults give so much attention to kids. Yeah? They're giving so much attention to those kids because those kids are just so important and they desperately need it. Here's a great example of it it's pretty funny. My wife and I, we don't have kids, but this is something I've really noticed and heard from people who do have kids is the day that you have a kid, your parents are not visiting you anymore, right? Your parents are visiting those grandbabies. They're not there to visit you. They're not there to see you. They're there to see your kids. Grandparents, they want to be around their grandkids desperately. They love them. They want to be around them, right? And this shows how important kids are, how much love kids need, and how much life kids bring really to just families. Kids need a lot of love, right? They need to be nurtured, and they desperately want to be in a relationship with their other peers, with their parents, and with other adults. And you might be saying, well, what about those shy kids, right? Those shy kids don't. No, yes, those shy kids desperately want to be in relationship as well. Because kids desperately need it. Even the shy kids. All right, hashtag shy kids. Don't forget them. Now, when you become a parent, again, I'm not a parent, but when you become a parent, and overnight, your priorities change drastically. Your kids are now your priority. You put yourself in second place, and those kids are becoming first place. You put those kids before yourself. And you're constantly serving your kid, putting your kid first all the time. That's called something. It's called sacrifice. So we can picture how important kids are in our families and even how adults interact with those kids. They're sacrificing, they're loving up on them, they're cherishing them, giving them all this attention. So that's how we treat kids in our families. But what about our church family? Our church is a family. At least I hope that we all view our church congregation as a family, right? How is your church family treating the kids in your church? One thing that I see is a culture of neglect, right? I see the culture in a lot of churches views Sunday school, Kingdom Kids, whatever you want to call it. The church culture views it as, oh, get these kids out of here. They can't be in here interrupting and disrupting service. We got to let the adults do adult things, and we'll let those kids do those little kid things in the back. We just need to forget about them. We need to get them out of the way. what does Jesus say about that? But what did Jesus say when kids interrupted him while he was in front of a crowd? In Matthew 19, verse 14, it says, Jesus says, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to these." I'm not saying that we need to let kids run amok and cause chaos in the church building during service, right? And I'm not saying that if there's a group of kids in the back row, cracking jokes and giggling in the middle of the sermon, that we just need to let that. No, we need to put a stop to that, right? That's fine. We need to do those things. But what's the church's attitude with kids? I've seen so many times in so many different churches where the children's ministry leaders are literally begging for help. They go in front of the church congregation practically on their hands and knees, and they're literally begging. We need help. We need volunteers. We need people to help plan events. We need people to help love and invest in these kids. We need people to sacrifice. We need people to rise up and help these kids. And they're begging them. They're begging for help day in and day out. Is that what Jesus dreamed of when he died for the church? Did he dream of children's ministry leaders going in front of congregations and begging for help to love upon the kids? Is that the culture Jesus dreamed of? Right? Why is it like that? I think we see children's ministry as a chore and not as an opportunity to love and help these kids, be a part of their lives, change their lives. We see it as a chore. Back to a previous point I made about grandparents and how they're not there to see the parents anymore. They're there to see those grandbabies. Do the adults have the same attitude about seeing kids in church? Right? When an adult sees a kid, what's the attitude like? What's the culture like? It really doesn't take a lot to just, hey, what's going on, buddy? Dude, how was school this week? What's been going on? What's some things you like? What do you enjoy? Just really love up on that kid. So I want to encourage you to just kind of think about this in your own life. What is your attitude about the kids in your church, right? Do you see them as a chore, as getting in the way? Or do you see them as, man, this is the most important thing that I need to invest in? Just like a parent looks at their own kids, this is how I think adults should look at their own kids in their own church. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more content like it, please subscribe. If you want to leave any feedback, you can send me an email. It's in the description. Or you can leave a comment. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.